பாலும் தெளித்தேனும் பாகம் பருப்பும் இவை நாளும் கலந்து உனக்கு நான் தருவேன் கோலம் செய் துங்க கரிமுகத்து தூமணியே நீ எனக்கு தமிழ் மூன்றும் தா. Paruppu. Paruppu in Tamil is dal, and dal or red split lentils is a staple in Tamil cuisine, and it is absolutely delicious and nutritious. Today I'm going to show you how to make dal, or as we say in Tamil, Paruppu. Making dal is very, very easy, and it's something that I think once you learn how to do, you become addicted to because it's cheap, it's easy, and it's delicious. To make dal, you need lentils. The preference for dal in Tamil households are these lentils, which is red split lentils. You need a cooking vessel. So sometimes I make dal in just a copper pot, like a saucepan like this. But usually I like to make dal in my clay pot from Sri Lanka. So many people have asked me about these pots. These are traditional cooking pots that came from a little town in Sri Lanka called Molagode. And my mom and dad, they used to nostalgically talk about eating curries that were cooked in clay pots and how they tasted different than curries cooked in Western pots. And I think it has something to do with the clay absorbing the moisture from whatever you're cooking. It makes the thing thicker, but also traditionally these pots were put over wood-burning fires in Sri Lanka, and I'm sure that affected the flavor of the food. So nostalgically, I love cooking in these pots. The more they're used, the better they get. Like everything in life, they're like cast iron pots. They get seasoned. I don't measure anything. I'm not going to give you measurements. This is the way to learn. You pour the dal into the cooking vessel that you're going to be using, and then you need to rinse it out. You need to kind of wash it in the sink. Cold water. Water goes in. There's starch around the dal, and if you don't wash it off, the dal will be very mushy. So that's why we rinse things off like dal or rice. We're rinsing off the powdery starch that has accumulated from friction of the dal in packaging. So you can see that that water is murky. That's the starch, and you want to wash that off. We drain it very loosely. More water. 2 washes is good. And then, try not to drop the dal in the sink. And then we put water in there for it to sit about an inch above the dal. So you can make this very thick or you can make this very watery, and that is determined by how much water you cook the dal in. You can always add water to this while you're cooking it. You can't take water away. It's better to start with less water and add more water as it's cooking if you need it. So for this amount of dal, I have about an inch of water sitting above the dal. That's pretty good. At this stage, I'm going to add some ingredients directly to this pot before I put it on the stove. So I have some curry leaves, and these are dried curry leaves. It's very hard to get fresh curry leaves here in Manhattan, which is kind of pathetic because in Toronto, where I'm from, it's very easy to get curry leaves and they're very cheap. So it's sad to me that I have to use dried curry leaves, but needs must. So some dried curry leaves, about 5 to 10. They go in there. I think a little more. We need some green chilies. Wash the green chilies. So sometimes Thai chilies are really hot, and one chili will make the dal very, very spicy. So be careful when you're putting chilies in there. Add them to your heat tolerance. These are finger chilies. They're not very hot. I'm going to put in 1. So I like to slice the chili lengthwise, like this, and then cut it into big chunks. Some people like to very finely chop the chili. Any way you cut it is fine. This is kind of the home style of cooking Paruppu or dal. A bit of onion. So if you have very small onions, you can use a couple of them. So the onion gets sliced, and that just goes in there. We add a little bit of salt. Oh, about a teaspoon. We need some turmeric. And I'm gonna leave this out because we add some other spices later. For this step, we need, like a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of turmeric. And I need to buy more turmeric. Add it to the grocery list. Some garlic is essential. Garlic in dal, essential. And I like to put a lot of garlic in, like 3 cloves. Now this can go on the stove, and I'm going to turn the heat on to medium, cover it, and bring it to a boil. Bongum nilave mangeye bole, bongum nilave mangeye bole. So usually when I'm cooking Tamil food, I have Tamil music playing, like old Tamil songs from the 50s, nostalgic, beautiful, from the golden era of Tamil movies. And I don't have that playing now because we're filming and there are rights and shut up, boy, you want to get sued? So I just had to simulate what it's really like in here when I'm making Paruppu, when I'm cooking a Tamil meal. There's this whole beautiful atmosphere of it being like a beautiful old black and white Tamil movie, and there's going to be some wonderful flavors that are coming out of the night at the end. Yeah. Had to sing you some Tamil songs, which is what I do in here when I'm alone. It's authentic. Ramble, ramble, ramble. The dal is cooking on the stove. While it's cooking, the only thing that I have to do is prepare a little bit of a spice mix that's going to go in the dal at the very end. Black pepper and cumin. So I have, like a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and the same amount of cumin, whole cumin. Oh, let's say 1/2 teaspoon. I don't measure anything, so I hate even saying it. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm just gonna show you. Some cumin and some black pepper. And it's whole, and I pound it. You know, I have never had a pepper mill, and when I went to the store to get a pepper mill, I thought, I don't wanna get a pepper mill. This is this thing about just acquiring beautiful things that you really love. And I didn't want to get a pepper mill, and I didn't know what to do. So I was looking around, and I saw a mortar and pestle, and I thought, that is really beautiful, and that's what I'm going to get, and that's what I'm going to grind my pepper in. And I do it. This mortar and pestle is great for grinding multiple spices together. I don't grind it too finely. It's fine that it's kind of coarse. And that is done. Beautiful. And now I'm just going to check the lentils on the stove. Perfect. They're done. These have been cooking for about 15 minutes, and I can see that they're done because they're transparent. If they're uncooked, then they're still quite opaque. And if this cooks much longer, then it's going to turn into a complete mush. So this dal is fairly watery for dal. If I added less water, they would be much thicker, but I like this consistency. If you wanted it to be thicker, you would add less water at the beginning, and if there wasn't enough water in the dal, at this point you could add more water and just let it cook for a few minutes. It's very forgiving. It's not a fussy dish. So I'm going to turn off the heat at this point and move the dal to the cutting board. I have asbestos hands. I really do, from doing pottery and from, I don't know, just touching things without gloves for many years. And at this point, I'm going to add that spice mix of cumin and pepper into the dal and stir this in. At this point, you could also add very thick coconut cream. That's the traditional way to finish all Tamil curries. I have a video on making coconut milk. You can watch that and you'll learn about how to extract coconut milk from fresh coconuts. So if you make your own coconut milk, or if you have canned coconut milk, you could add 2 to 3 tablespoons of coconut milk to this, stir it in. It takes it to a next level. It's so delicious, but this is good as is. So the last thing I do is I just taste it to see if there's enough salt. Perfect. It's kind of spicy because of the chili and the black pepper and the cumin, but it's also very rich in flavor, and that's just the lentils. One last thing you could do before you serve this, if you're not vegan, you could add a tiny bit of butter to it, and the butter just melts into it and gives it another little bit of extra richness. Butter or ghee. Dal, Paruppu in Tamil. It is easy to make, it's inexpensive, it's very quick, it's healthy, it is gluten-free, it's vegan, and it's heartwarming when you eat this stuff. I love it. I've been eating this since I was a very little kid, regularly, multiple times a week, and it's wonderful to just be able to whip it up really quickly at home. So try it yourself at home, and please let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.